Good morning, Scott. Just getting finished with last night's Rain Beatles tribute at Rimrock Auto Arena. It was a great show, and I wish more people had been to see it, but everybody that was there had a fabulous time. I got more hugs than I think I've gotten for a show in a long time, so I'm pretty pleased with that.
So you were in seventh heaven then, everybody hugging you, right?
Absolutely. It was a blast. And then we're getting ready. This morning will be our final announcement at 10 o'clock, the final announcement of the last night show at Montana Fair, which will be the Friday show. That'll come up tonight. And it's a 3-act show, 3 different performers on the same night at Montana Fair this year on August 9th when we open everything up on Sneak a Peek night. And then this weekend, the individual shows all go on sale for Montana Fair. So you'll be able to buy any one of the shows that you want to go to. You'll be able to buy individual rodeo tickets, or you'll be able to buy the Supercross event as well. All go on sale this Friday at the normal locations online at metropark.com, at the Metropark box office, or by phone at, let me think if I get this number off the top of my head right, 800-336-7538.
So let's talk about the 2 acts that have already been announced.
Well, we get the CMA and ACM Vocal Group of the Year, and it's been a long time, I think, since we've had one of those major award winners at Montana Fair. I mean, Kelly Clarkson was a major winner on several levels last year, but not a current winner. Old Dominion is the current reigning ACM and CMA Vocal Group of the Year. They will be the final of the 3 night shows in the arena, and that'll be on Sunday night. We are really excited to get them. We got a great price in terms of shopping properly and using the taxpayer money effectively in order to get Old Dominion on. So they're going to play on Sunday. On Saturday, 98 degrees, and the band really stopped performing a lot. I don't know if people knew this or not, but they performed at a Michael Jackson tribute on September 10th, 2001 in Madison Square Garden in New York City. Everybody knows what happened the following day. And the band really, at that point, decided to everybody, like all of us, in a little bit of shock. And they didn't really kind of put everybody back together again until just a few years ago when they decided to go out and do some touring and have some fun together. And it's the original band of 98 Degrees, all the hits that you might remember from about 12, 14 years ago. And it'll be a blast on Saturday night, a great way to really get Saturday night date night going at Montana Fair.
Let's talk about the process that you and the other folks at Metro Park have to go through to get these acts booked.
Oh man, it's a lot like making sausage. You're glad to eat it, but you really don't want to see what goes in it sometimes as it goes in the process. We have a list of probably 10 to 15 acts that we want to look at, and we try to go by genre so that we don't book all the same type of act at a time. But a lot of it really depends on who's available and who's touring. And this also reflects down into the shows that you see that we call tour is not touring. If they're not out on the road, if they're not actively looking for dates, it doesn't matter what kind of cash you have, they're not going to play. So we list out the 10 to 15 acts that we think are doable, that route reasonably well, that we know are out playing and taking dates in the price range at which we can afford. We have had to raise the amount of money that we spend on night show entertainment over the last couple of years because it just doesn't go as far. The amount of money that some of these performers ask for is substantially higher than it was 3, 4, 5 years ago, and sometimes some of the guys who write our checks and write our budgets don't get the idea that these prices go up because more people are chasing the same entertainers. If you got more demand, less supply, the price goes up. And that's been the case over the last several years. In fact, Old Dominion, even though I think we got a terrific price on them, will be the second highest we've ever paid for an act at Montana Fair, only behind Clarkson and just slightly ahead of what we played for Train in 2014.
Wow. So when like Kelly Clarkson was number one that Metro Park had to pay out Old Dominion number two, what makes you finally pull the trigger on an act?
Sheer fear of missing out on something at some point.
Yeah.
You get to a point, we'd like to be done in November or December and know who we had coming. We didn't finish the 98 Degrees deal until about a week ago. So you get to a point where if you wait too long, you don't have what you want available. And if you go too early, you pay a price that you don't want to pay because you become Santa Claus. So we're not in a Santa Claus kind of environment in budget. You look at Cheyenne Frontier Days; they're Santa Claus.
Yeah.
They'll spend $700,000, $800,000 per act that they bring for their night show entertainment. That's why they're able to book them a year in advance. They become an anchor date. I don't have $800,000 in money to spend on any group of shows. That includes all our night shows, all the rodeo, the Supercross, and the night shows, and we still don't reach $800,000. So that's the difference in why you wait and why you kind of are in that position. Is this the best we can do? Is there anything else coming down that might be better? Let's take a shot and go for here. That's really what we end up doing, and we've had probably 4 different groups in the 98 Degrees was the last one we booked, but we've had 4 different targets in that area over the last month and a half. And they've either fallen out for one reason or another, not touring, not coming by, want too much money. All those kind of things play into a role for us when we go out to book these performers.
You said 98 Degrees was the last act that you booked, so you're going to be announcing a show coming up here at 10 o'clock this morning. Why haven't you announced that one before 98 Degrees?
Well, it'll become apparent when you see what the show is, because we had some genre issues that we wanted to take care of first before we did the other announcement. We had actually the show that we're announcing last is the show we booked first.
Oh, wow.
We had that one done right out of the box, and mainly because the pricing and routing and everything was really excellent, and we're really happy to do this particular act, and it fits Billings very, very well with what's going on in that particular genre of music. It fits really well, and it'll be a lot of fun.
So let's talk about some other acts that are coming to Billings between now and Montana Fair.
Well, the 2 really big ones we have, Marilyn Manson makes his first appearance here with Rob Zombie, and that'll be on the 25th of July. On the 28th, just 3 days later, we get the rock group Disturbed here with Pop Evil, who played at the fair a few years ago as a headline entertainer, and they'll be back as the opening act for Disturbed. So it's a couple of we've had a run of rock of late. Breaking Benjamin was here on April 8th. So, when people buy tickets, that's what you get. And we last year had a little bit of run of country with Chris Stapleton and Luke Bryan. This year we've had a little bit of a rock run. There are a couple of things still to come, haven't been announced yet for September and October that we're looking forward to getting new acts into the building that haven't played before. One I know that's kind of hanging out there has played before and did very, very well, and we're excited to get them back if that deal comes together, and we're still watching where that one is.
This talk about, of course, I think it's the end of May, first part of June, goes away from Rimrock Auto Arena to First Interstate. Let's talk about that process, because I remember talking to you maybe a year, 2 years ago when the contract for Rimrock Auto Arena was coming up. A lot of work that you guys have to get done for this to happen. Yeah,
the agreement has not signed yet. The agreement signed on the First Interstate side. It is not signed on the county side. It goes to the commissioners today at 9:30. They will do the signing of most of the ad agreements inside the arena. including the one for First Interstate. And as of June 1st, Scott, is when the flip-over date is that the arena's name will change. Still Rimrock Auto Arena up until May 31 of 2019. But it took a lot of time and work in identifying the proper candidates, and then working with them through contract negotiations to get what we thought was a good deal for us and what turns out to be a good deal for the taxpayers. It'll increase overall the revenue that the building gets, which all our money really just turns around and goes right back in to the performance, to making the facility better for the customers who come in. So our facility is not built to generate cash flow. That's not what we do. What we want to do is come even and not cause the taxpayers to have to fund assets at which they already own. So we went through the process of an RFP, a request for proposal. I probably talked to 30 different businesses in town to get their impressions of what they thought it was worth, might be worth, could be worth. We ended up with two people that participated in the RFP. First Interstate was one, and there was another business in town. And we settled on where the money was, honestly. The total deal will end up being about a five-fold increase in signage revenue for the county, which in turn will go back into improving the facility.
You know, there was a lot of talk the past 3 months over the One Big Sky district. If that thing would have went through, do you think that would have actually hurt the county Metro Park a little bit dollar-wise?
You know, it's hard to tell. They claim not a lot of competition with us. I think there would have been competition, which honestly is good for anybody. The issue in Billings is that we're still a big town, not a small city, in my estimation. And while the One Big Sky project probably would have had some effect on us, I don't know that it would have had a debilitating effect, but then you would have had two buildings that required taxpayer subsidy. There's little doubt in my mind, even though the proponents would say otherwise, that the building would have, that district, that particular building, the centerpiece, if you will, of their project, would have ended up having to be taxpayer supported. That it is unlikely to have been able to operate on its own merits. This business is a difficult business at best. It's not one where we will build it and they will come. And even reducing I've done the pencils out here at our place. What could I do if? You can't get there. You just can't. It shouldn't stop the rest of the district from being built. The things that they want to do would in turn generate the traffic downtown for the facility they want to build. But they honed in on building this convention center that's bigger than Tacoma, Washington, for Billings, Montana. And I think that became the be-all, end-all, that everything had to start there rather than finding a different pathway. As a couple of the folks that were involved with the district said once, we don't have there is no plan B. This is all we have. And certainly, I think the money issue is the one that I was excited about. See, anybody wanting to invest $150 to $300 million in our community ought to be supported and cheered. I think it might have been in the wrong place to put that money, but I'm a little jaded in terms of what we do out here.
Well, coming up here in 2 hours and maybe 8 minutes, a big announcement, final act for Montana Fair, right?
Yep, and don't forget that the tickets go on sale for the individual shows at 10 o'clock on Friday morning on the 26th, and that'll give you a chance to buy whatever it is you want to. Value passes are still on sale right now, so you can get all the events, all the concerts, all of that at one price right now at Montana Fair. You can buy it at the box office anytime that you want to here in the arena, and then we get to have the excitement of changing everything over in about 30 days, which that's a lot of signage to change,
yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on this morning, sir.
Well, Scott, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. Anytime that we can bring you up to date on the things that are going on at the facility, we want to. The new Metro Park annual report is out as of today. That really, what we want to do is be transparent to the community. Here's what we do. Here's the money comes in. Here's the money that goes out. Here's how it's used. We had a tremendous year in 2018, and we want to make sure that people are aware of that. If you don't get a physical copy of it, there is one online at metropark.com where you can see the annual report and some tremendous photos in there from the Billings Gazette. They just really knocked it out of the park in their coverage of activity here at the arena and on the grounds, and we're really pleased that they partner with us to provide those photos and really make the annual report really pop for everybody.
It's not as long as the Mueller report, is it?
No, we're 20 pages, and two of them I just left kind of as they were, so that we didn't have to put more copy in there. But it's a great piece of work. I think maybe one of the best things we've ever done. Drew Bennett and his design group really did a terrific job on this. It's pretty great, and you'll find it on metropark.com.
Thank you, sir.